Hi, everybody. Welcome to In the School Parking Lot. My name is Paul. I'm a teacher, been teaching since 1989, and I find stories or something that relates to the school and or family. And I wanted to share my first experience at a California State Senate Judiciary Committee meeting right here. Never have been to one before. Yet I tend to be a keyboard warrior. It's time to get away from the keyboard once in a while and voice my concerns or even praise in support of issues. Um, I'm just going to verbal process. Thank you, Pastor Mark. Yesterday, which would have been June 16th, was pretty tough. It was pretty tough. I didn't know what to expect. Walked into a room, a lot of people, and I'm 60 years old, so I've seen a lot in 60 years of living in California. And as I said, I've never been to one of these meetings. It's brand new to me. And I expect leaders to be role models. They didn't have a quorum until I think 3:30. Meeting started at 1:30. Didn't have a quorum. You had people there, probably, I don't know what they are, but they were there to present all their different bills. And you didn't have a quorum until 2 hours after the meeting started. So I don't know what got done. When there was a quorum, you had people walking in and out. There was like this little cove area to the right of me, left of them, and they'd walk in there and they'd walk back out. And I'm not going to name anyone specific, but, of course, that whole committee full of Democrats, and I think one, maybe or two, maybe one lone Republican. But I'm thinking to myself, is this how it works? You have somebody at the lectern reading to you a proposal. You're not in the room, or when you're in the room, some of you are on your phone. It's like you don't care. I was shocked. It was just a nerve. I mean, I almost got sick to my stomach going, and I'm not going to run for office. There's no way I'm going to run for office. Okay. So, but those who have taken on that responsibility to run, do your job, man. Sit at that chair and listen to people, give people the courtesy. The decorum, the etiquette was disgusting. All right, State Senator Umberg. I take umbrage with you, State Senator Umberg, when you have people walking out, in and out of your meeting. And again, I don't know, so I'm verbal processing. This is what I've observed as a virgin eyes going, what are you doing? And then they get to vote, even though they didn't hear anything. So this was about AB 1967. I will put a link in the description of today's episode to let you know what it is. But one thing I found interesting, on the back page this is page 8 of 9, and I'm not going to read this to you. It shows a lot of support, and then look at the opposition. None. Really? Is that part of the supermajority thing about Democrats being like the supermajority? By the way, when you go up to when you look at AB 1967, which got 7-0, so it's going to become a law. I would also, and I might put the search here, encourage you to see the opinions about how much legislation has been created that negatively impacts the nuclear family in the state of California. All right. So what happened yesterday is that they have the person who authors the bill, and then they had two people speak on behalf of proponents on the bill, and then they had one man who's going through some serious challenges with the adoption services, foster care services in the county of Shasta. And he talked, and that was hard to listen to. He did a very good job. I do think that it's very emotional. He didn't get emotional. He didn't cry. He didn't yell or anything, but a lot of ums, and it was hard. And I will say this: at least 2 or 3 people acknowledged him. So this 1967 was the last bill to be heard, and it was interesting to actually see give and take. We listened to the witness, and they were, but I don't know if it was sincere, if it's all staged. The whole thing seemed to be lacking ethics. It just was weird. Okay, so what happens is after these people you get to do this. I literally call it Me Too. Me Too. So I go up there. Hi, my name is Paul Everts. I'm from Placer County. Today I represent Moms for Liberty, and I urge a no vote. Okay, that's all you get. You don't get to do anything more. So I did meet Erin Friday. If she gets to see this, thank you very much, Erin Friday, for all you do. And I did show Erin Friday this, and I'm going to read this to you. It's only going to take 2.5, 3 minutes to read, but this is I rise in strong opposition to AB 1967. So I'm going to read this to you, and then we're going to call it good. But I showed it to Ms. Friday. Ms. Friday said it was good, but I didn't have a chance to, because I wasn't a witness. A witness gets, I guess, 5 minutes. Us Me Too people, less than 2, and they'll cut you off. Don't worry. Senator Umberg's really good at cutting people off. I'll give you that. You control the meeting very well, Senator, and I mean it sincerely. I rise in strong opposition to AB 1967. This bill is being presented as a way to protect youth in care and support young adults. But this bill expands state control over families and radically increases the power of systems that already struggle to meet their basic responsibilities. First, AB 1967 encourages minors living in residential facilities to initiate dependency proceedings against their own parents or custodians, and then requires social workers to reinvestigate the safety of the parent's home. That sounds protective, but in practice, it invites what we already see too much of: weaponized allegations, pressure from facility staff or peers, and more intrusion into intact or reunifying families. It adds another mandated investigation for already overloaded workers, which will inevitably mean less time and less attention for the truly highest risk children. Second, AB 1967 shortens timelines and requires the juvenile court to review these denial decisions from social workers and act within 14 days when the applicant is a minor. On paper, fast review seems good, but forcing the court and agencies into rushed decisions increases the chance of error, either unnecessarily pulling families into court or rubber stamping weak petitions just to meet a statutory deadline. Neither outcome is justice, and neither serves children well. And then third, for non-minors up to 21 years old, AB 1967 makes it easier to re-enter dependency in foster care, even when adoptive parents or guardians are still receiving benefits and arguably still responsible. It then mandates automatic suspension of KIN, KIN-GAP, KIN gap, and adoption assistance payments at the moment a voluntary re-entry agreement is signed. That creates confusion, financial instability, and perverse incentives, disrupting permanent families, undermining the finality of adoption, and putting counties in the middle of disputes instead of supporting stable relationships. Taken together, this bill grows the footprint of the dependency system instead of strengthening families and improving the quality of the services we already fund. It increases mandates on counties, social workers, courts, and foster care systems without a clear showing that outcomes for youth will actually improve. More forms, more investigations, more hearings. None of that is the same as more safety, more stability, and more love in a child's life. When you, the legislators, when you make a law, please ask yourself how this law helps you and fellow citizens in their pursuit of happiness. If the honest answer is that it subjects more families to intrusive investigations, destabilizes existing adoptive and guardianship homes, and diverts scarce resources from those in greatest need, then this bill fails that test. For these reasons, I respectfully urge you to vote no on AB 1967. We got to do better. I plan to go to more meetings. I plan to, again, I'm not running for office. There's no way. I could not sit on that board and watch people come in and out and not listen, not ask questions, be on their phones. And then all the hobnob and rubbing elbows and no way. No, it's just a bunch of acting. No. But I would encourage all of us to go to a meeting or two, to read what's going on, to understand. So that is my In the School Parking Lot. I do have a Venmo account. I do have a PayPal account. We'd love to have a gift or two from you. I'd also, if you're still watching, God bless you. I'm interested in having people help me make these videos more professional and just put the icing on the cake. The cake's good. I just need to have the icing. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for watching. God bless you. And appreciate those who are serving. I just wish you led by example. And the example would be better. All right. God bless. Love you. Bye.